Hello and welcome to the Awesome 180 channel. I'm Ashton Doctor, your habit coach, and today is going to be full of farming analogies and trekking analogies. So, last week I was on a trek in Leh Ladakh, and normally Leh Ladakh is this dusty, arid countryside where all the mountains are just endless. You just see endless mountains, you climb over these peaks that are snow capped, and it's just a very harsh environment. But this time, we were trekking to a place called the Markha Valley. And the Markha Valley is this beautiful green region of Leh which has beautiful flowers, red flowers, yellow flowers, purple flowers. And all of them are part of these farming fields that are taking place. And why are there fields there? Because we are in the valley. We are at the bottom of the mountain. And this part is the only place where you can grow things, because on the mountain it's going to be rough. It's going to be a hard road up ahead. And then finally when you come up to the top, it's too high up, it's too cold, nothing's going to grow. So here's where the farming analogy comes in. Everybody who goes and then does their cow herding and goat herding and all of that up in the mountains first grows their food down in the valley. So there's a phrase that says, if you want to eat in the mountains, you have to grow your food in the valley. What does that mean? In our life, we have mountains and we have valleys. We have highs in our lives and we have lows in our lives. And as you know, on the Habit Coach podcast, we are forever celebrating the rock bottom moments, the lowest of the lows. And this is when you are in the valley. When you're at the highs and when you're at the top and you're on the peak, that's not the time when you think about what's about the lows, but that is the goal. So in order to get to the goal, you have to be in the valley, and in the valley, you have to prepare. When we mean that grow the food that you're going to eat on top of the mountain, we talk about the preparation that is needed to be able to climb that mountain and get onto the top. When we're in the valley is where we practice what we're going to use up there. When we're in the valley is where we grow our skills, where we grow our abilities, where we grow our powers, so that when we're up there on the mountain, we can live peacefully and easily and comfortably. You see, very often we just want to live in the mountains, but that's impossible because you're going to die, you're going to starve there. You haven't gone through the hardships and the work that is needed in order to be deserving of being up there in the mountains. So this analogy is beautiful. When you're in the valley, grow your crops, plant your seeds, reap the fruits that you're going to eat on the way up to the mountain and on the mountaintop. What does that mean with our life? If you are right now in a place where you're sad, you're low, you're depressed, you're in your rock bottom moment, you don't know what you're doing, you're confused, this is the moment when you start learning, when you start growing, when you start listening to positive talk, when you start listening to beautiful speakers and orators, when you start listening to the Habit Coach podcast, that for sure. But that's when you start doing these things, because these are the things that are going to teach you. This is when you start putting in that exercise, when you put your diet in, you put your sleep well, you start working on yourself hard when you're in the valley. So that when you start climbing up and growing up, it's going to be easier in the mountains. What do we end up doing when we're in the valley? We end up sulking. We end up doing nothing. It's nice, it's pleasant, the weather is here, it's okay. You don't want to be able to change. You suffer, but you don't want that change. You wonder how other people do it. And this is the way. When you're in the valley, prepare. So that when you climb up to whatever heights you're going to go, to whatever things you're going to achieve, you have the ability and the power at that point of time and enough raw materials and resources to be able to survive, and not just survive, but to thrive up there. And ultimately, if you want an awesome life, you got to be thriving. You got to be thriving up there in the mountain, but you also got to be thriving down in the valleys. So start practicing these things and you'll start seeing a big difference in your life. If you like content like this, please don't forget to click like and the subscribe button so you know when future videos come out. I am Ashton Doctor, your habit coach, and remember, awesome lives, they start with awesome habits just like this.